Okay, it's Tuesday, March 19th, and this is a quick video on how I make green tea. It's a video that I promised to my first YouTube friend, Sabrina, also known as the PurpleWhisperer. I am in Arlington Heights, Illinois, which is a suburb of Chicago, specifically at Mitsuwa Marketplace, which is a Japanese mall. They have a pretty large selection of green tea, so I figure I'll go inside and pick something out and fix it later. But anyways, cameras are not allowed inside this mall, so I have to be a little bit discreet, and there's actually a sign at the door. And I gotta say, this is kind of awkward talking into a camera. This is actually my fourth take. I had to stop when people started walking by or driving by. So for you vloggers out there, I don't know how you do it. This feels a little strange to me, talking into a camera. But anyways, let's go inside.
Pick out what you want.
Okay. What do I? What do you have? White. Terus kamu kan ini tidak ada ini. Ini tidak ada.
When this is true, I hope that I will find that tomorrow will be just the same for you and me. All I need will be the love that I find.
I got that couple back.
Okay, so this is the tea that I bought earlier. It's the loose tea kind. For the demonstration today, I'll use this. I do buy tea bags as well. I got all different kinds here. Got some decaf and this big bag that I bought. But a lot of tea enthusiasts will say that the tea bags itself affects the flavor of the tea. So serious tea drinkers will always get the loose kind. And another thing is that a lot of the good qualities that the tea has to offer gets filtered out by the paper as well. And another disadvantage of tea bags is that the tea is all crunched up in this tiny little bag, and it really doesn't get the exposure to the water, so you don't really get the maximum, effectiveness from all the tea leaves in there, because they're all kind of scrunched up in there, and it doesn't really get a chance to, get the surface area exposure to the water. So that's why serious tea drinkers always use the loose kind, the old-fashioned way. But I still Actually, 80% of the time I'll use tea bags just for the convenience sake. Anyways, here are some of the teapots that I had. These are all my parents that they used to use. But back in the day, they used to like pour the tea leaves on the bottom and then pour the hot water over it. That noise you hear is my bird. You probably remember her from my other videos. Her cage is in the kitchen during the winter time because it's a lot warmer back here. And she likes to make noise because she likes to draw attention. Right, bird? Yeah, well anyways, back to the tea bags. So, yeah, as far as convenience sake, I use tea bags, but if you really want the full effect of a good tea, I always use the, and if I have company or something, I always use the loose tea. And again, like I was saying, my parents used to pour the tea leaves in the bottom of the pot and pour water over it. Of course, the disadvantage of that is it's hard to clean up afterwards. And the other thing is, if you make tea that way, you've got to drink it right away because you don't want the tea to overbrew and then it becomes bitter. So there is a way to get the effectiveness of loose tea and also have the convenience of a tea bag. And this is what I use. I use a stainless steel tea strainer. These aren't very expensive. As a matter of fact, I saw them on Amazon.com for like $4. And you know, if you have an Asian market by you, you can go there to pick one up. And I think a lot of the like cooking utensil stores, like Chef's Catalog or something, has these for like, again, for like $3 or $4. So I like to use this teapot because it's nice and small. I really don't drink a lot of tea, but I'm just making a video here on how I make tea. And the tea strainer fits snugly on top there. Okay, now I'm going to boil the water. So when this thing starts to whistle, that means the water's at 212 degrees or boiling point. You really don't want the water to get that hot. But if you do let it get that hot and it starts to whistle, it's at boiling point, I let it cool off for like 5 minutes because the optimal temperature is a little bit under boiling point. So I let it boil, I heat it up till just before it starts to boil, and then I cut the heat and use that water. Another advantage of using loose tea is that you can make the tea as strong or as mild as you want. You know, just pick out the amount of tea leaves you're going to use. And you know what? You could use a lot less with these as well, because when you use a strainer, you got more of the surface area of the tea exposed to the water, so you don't need as much tea as you got in these bags here. I just like to use about that much. And now we'll just wait for the water to heat up. Okay, so once you open up your thing of tea, you want to seal it up nice and tight. Maybe put some tape over here and throw it in the refrigerator, because once you open it up, it starts to deteriorate, and you know, you want to keep your tea as fresh as possible for as long as possible. Okay. I probably heated this up a little bit longer than I should have, so I'm going to let it cool for a couple minutes, because it's probably right at boiling point. Okay, so I made this, let it sit there as long as I think it's right. And these tea leaves are still good. I mean, I could make probably like 2 more pots of tea with this little batch here. So, anyways, I'm going to let that sit for a little bit and pretty soon I'll have tea. Another thing I wanted to show you is this. This is what my mother says what they use in modern day Japan. It's kind of like a really, let's see if I can hold the camera. It's kind of like a fine powder. It's not quite instant tea. Let me see if I can get it on my... It's kind of awkward. Okay, got it. Just really fine powder. It's not instant tea, it's actually really finely ground tea leaves, but it dissolves in the water, so it's almost like instant tea. And they have it in these bottles here. They have several different kinds. I really don't care for these because I think it's kind of weak, and if you use a lot more it gets too bitter. Maybe I'm just not using it right, but I just prefer doing it like this or with the tea bags. Anyways, it's all ready to go, and since the tea leaves is not in the water there, it's not going to get too bitter. It's all set to go.